How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. TraderPrad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy TraderPrad, and we are here with a brand new episode for the final day of June. That's right, final day of June. July is right around the corner. It's the best month there ever is. For those of you know, good for you. If you don't, then we're just gonna leave it at that. The best month there is, July. And excited to see what opportunities we have. Sadly, the earnings board is very dead for the week, so nothing really too exciting on that side. But the market is not boring by any means at all. You're watching the QQQ at the moment rip to the upside. We're watching S&P 500 possibly create the death cross, not the death cross, sorry, the golden cross as they call it. That's when the 200-day moving average on the S&P 500 crosses the 50-day moving. God damn it, my brain is all over the place. Give me a second. There we go. That's when the 50-day moving average crosses the 200-day moving average on the S&P 500, which is yet to happen. I think it will happen most likely tomorrow or next week at the rate that the market's moving. And obviously both of them above the all-time high. Looking very strong, as you have Microsoft breaking above 500 today. Apple giving you a positive news catalyst about some AI, so maybe Apple coming back into well, it's still in the Mag 7, but Apple coming back to help the market go higher overall. So that's why we're seeing what's going on. You are not in view. Are you wearing clothes? Well, the good answer to that, TH, is no, I'm not wearing a shirt because it is hot as fuck in my room right now. So we're not wearing a shirt today. No camera, ladies and gentlemen. Can't be naked on YouTube streams. or they're gonna ban me for already all the stuff that I'm not doing. Apparently, I'm a crypto scammer, and they're already banning me for that on my stream. So can't get caught being naked on streams now. So good question, TH. But coming back to the market, you know, Apple pushing back to the upside, having a nice breakout into the close today. You also had, I think Meta pulled back a little bit, but overall, just wonderful moves. Robinhood, if you're watching this stream on YouTube, you see the thumbnail dedicated to Robinhood. So Robinhood having a monster move to the upside, possibly even breaking 100 overnight, or in pre-market. Right now in the after hours, we didn't really push into $100, but I wouldn't be surprised if Robinhood actually gets above 100 in the overnight markets, which starts now at 8 o'clock and go until 4 a.m. in the morning or so. So monster move overall that we are getting from what was a tokenization event. From that tokenization event, all-time high breakout, getting above the IPO day high over here, above $85. Let me just magnet that right there. Getting above the IPO few days after the IPO. It wasn't really the IPO day high, but it was a few days after the IPO, getting above that, and just now I think it's going to start going parabolic. This is usually when you start seeing moves like Palantir around 83 starting to take place, when the stock starts to go even more crazier. So possibly a couple days of run up on Robinhood, and then some opportunities to take some profits on this trade, because I'm long from 66 on this name. So long from previously 50s, taking profits, getting back in, and now riding it from 60s into 85s into 90s. Absolutely loving this position. One of my biggest positions on my account. Also NBIS, watching this one move back to the upside, breaking 55 today and looking strong above 55. So I added more to my position over here on NBIS for the swing account, and you know, just loving this market bull run that we're getting overall. So many stocks that you can take advantage of. Even Reddit making a pop up to the north side. Coinbase cooling off a little bit. This is a stock that I want to talk about for potentially a day trade or even a swing trade for those of you who are interested to short stocks on the swing side. But worth watching for either side anyways. We'll talk about this deeper down the stream. But as a market summary, you know, we had some small caps moving around too that moved around on cryptocurrency news overall. I think Ethereum news, BMNR, moved up pretty well. I think Robinhood was one of the biggest movers today. Oracle, I forgot to put Oracle on the watch list. Close that one before anyone sees that. Where did Oracle go? Oracle. Where is my watch list? God damn it. So many things in front of my face that I'm losing my mind. There we go. Oracle needs to for sure be thrown on the watch list for tomorrow. As for my trades on the day, I did trade and I lost, but I lost, like, you know, almost insignificant amount of money, so I didn't even bother posting today. And all my trades today were on Oracle or on a Robinhood. So I tried to go long on Oracle for a day trade. That didn't work out. Then I tried to go short on Oracle and I got chopped up in this range. So that was my biggest loser on the day. My biggest winner on the day was Robinhood. So I went long Robinhood somewhere in this area, I want to say, and I got a nice little move up into 89, and then I tried to catch that move right before the event and I got whipped out of that trade at the break of 86, and then going into close I caught that move from 92.50 into 94, just that little run up over there. I wish I had caught this main run up, which was the main leg on Hood. However, my best trade on the day was Robinhood. However, how much ever money I made on Hood is exactly the amount of money I lost on trying to short Oracle today, looking for a gap close after the stock basically ran up in the pre-market. I forget what the news even was in pre-market for this move up overall, and nothing nothing burger move at the end of the day on Oracle. So those were my trades today. Didn't think that we had too much to learn from them. I guess Robinhood for sure, something to learn from that one, and that I will do in my write-up review. And for those of you who are interested to read my write-up reviews, head over to my Twitter, head over to my Linktree page, and you will find my chart catalog link. Aotearoa, I think that's how you say it, right? Aotearoa trader. And I don't know how to say it, but the Kiwi Trader is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. We got the Kiwi Trader on the Twitter chat. How you doing, brother? Always lovely to see you in the chat. Welcome, welcome. So time to head over to the main watch list of the night, which is basically for tomorrow. Tomorrow is Canada Day. So I will say, warning ahead, that I will not be streaming tomorrow because it's Canada Day. There are people coming over to my house, and we're gonna probably start partying right around 12 o'clock, going into late at the end of the night. Hopefully not going into late at the end of the night, because I want to be still getting some sleep and managing to wake up on time for July 2nd. I think July 4th is on Friday, so that's markets closed anyways. That means no stream on Thursday, because no market on Friday. So short week for us on the streaming schedule. No stream tomorrow because I will be spending some time with the family and friends, obviously, and no stream Thursday because there's no market on Friday. So I'll see you guys for the final stream of this week, sadly, on Wednesday. Only 2 streams this week with you guys, but we will be back to regular schedule, obviously, starting next week, and so will hopefully my trading schedule. So we'll see how that one plays out. Wear a shirt Wednesday? Dude, it is hot as hell. The AC is garbage in my house right now. I actually have the fan turned off just so you guys don't hear the stupid ass fan noise blowing into the microphone. So I have the fan turned off because of that reason, and that means I gotta have the shirt off, and my tits are out at the moment. So I need the cam to be off because I can't be flashing you guys my tits. No, wear a shirt tomorrow. All right, TH, what are you, my fashion designer? Get out of here, dude. Let's talk about the market. This is what we're here about. Talking about the stocks possibly worth moving tomorrow, possibly worth taking a look at to trade. Starting with a name that I actually popped up on my radar today, possibly because I had an alert on it much earlier ago, and that was Pure Storage. So I think when Pure Storage was in this range over here, I set an alert, and Pure Storage never really came back to that price until today. And that's the advantage of having a software that allows you to throw on multiple alerts, and you can just kind of forget about it. So Pure Storage, with the market going back up, pushing into the 21-day moving average. Sorry, that's not the 20, that's the 50. Pushing into the 50-day moving average. I think that's the 21 because it's actually the 21-day moving average on my normal indicator. So that one's gonna mess with my head a little bit. But I made a new layout just for the stream because this one has just way too much information and way too much going, and I keep having to turn on and turn off stuff for you guys, which gets a little annoying for me because I forget to turn on some stuff later on. Anyways, I made a new layout, so some of the colors over here I'm gonna forget, so that's why we have the legend right here for those of you who are wondering what colors or what SMAs. All the information is right up here for you. So Pure Storage finally breaking out of that 57 resistance area. Let me actually call this stream. Why not? Rename. Finally breaking out of the 57 area and pushing back to the north side. Maybe we'll start seeing eventually the 50-day moving average having that crossover with the 200-day moving average, which was the golden crossover. And last time you can see how the stock did that, went from $28 to what, $70, something crazy like that. Not guaranteed that it has to do it every single time you can see how a couple of times it did fail. These are during bear market periods, but during bull markets, which I feel like we are in one, this could be where the stock starts going parabolic and going insane. So Pure Storage on the move above 57 today actually built a pretty good support above 57 and below 58. Tomorrow, if we get above 58, I want to be very interested for the day trade and mainly for the swing trade to see how far can the breakout take this position, given that the market is above all-time high and potentially just keeps on blasting off. The next destination for the market and for the stocks are the moon, baby. So let's see if we play out that way. PSTG at the moment pushing into 58 and higher would trigger the signal for me to look for the long on both day and the swing. NBIS finally getting back above 55 over here. Very bullish indication. Touched the 21 and bounced right off the 21, so right in this area as it reclaimed the 9 moving average and creating this flag and breaking out of this flag at the moment. Volume increasing on this stock at the moment. So all things considered, I am very much interested to see how the stock plays out on that bigger move to the north side. You also have the golden crossover, which happened not too long ago, so potentially that breakout and a big move with the whole sector, which is the semiconductor sector, if I remember correctly. I think NBIS was in the semiconductor, or was it in the AI sector, where they offer NVIDIA GPUs as like a rent basis or something for people to deploy AI products, I think, if I remember correctly. I can't really remember what they do, but you know, when you're stupid and just trading charts and you're just trading setups, you don't really need to know exactly what the hell this company does. Not necessarily the right way to look about it, but you know, this chart, the setup is just screaming long, and I'm already situated in it. I actually bought some more in the after hours right now, before going live into 55.50 area, and watching the stock go up after hours just makes me even more happier. So NBIS, watching this one for a day and a swing trade, possibly opens up some room upside for the day trade if we're holding above 55 on the dips tomorrow. And all AI data centers, exactly what I thought it was. Thank you, Aoteora. You know, 55 is the key level that we all want to keep an eye out for. Either it's holding above that or it's dead to me. So put an alert for that one too. I think I have an alert. If I don't, I'll be watching it anyways because this is my personal account. A-Lab, this one is semiconductors and sadly not doing what I wanted to do. A-Lab is pushing back to the south side. Ideally, it reclaims the $100 area and pushes back to the upside, but right now, pushing back lower, while I want to say NVIDIA is going higher. Did NVIDIA go higher today? A little bit. NVIDIA barely green on the day, so I guess not that bad of a move at the moment. If you are interested to you know, give yourself some exposure to more semiconductor stocks and you're not already in NVIDIA and you kind of feel like you missed the boat on Micron, you feel like you missed the boat on Micron, or you missed the boat on AMD or whatever, then you have ALAB, which is creating a nice flag above the 200-day with the 50 about to cross the 200-day. And once it does break above 101, 100/102 in that zone, I think we do have a blast off opportunity, given that the market is in a bull market. So watching A-Lab, I have alerts already, but I think this one's not going to be ready for a little while, not for the day trade and not for the swing trade, but doesn't hurt picking up some shares on the dips as long as it doesn't get below, I want to say, like 85. If it does get below 85, that kind of ruins the permutations where you know, you get an explosive move back up north and an even bigger move up north. It might take longer, and in that case, I don't really want to be holding on to this name. I could get back in when it breaks out somewhere above here. You know, I could find a better setup, a better trade that could potentially actually go, instead of me having to deal with something like this. if it does get back below 85. So just making sure that my money is being put to work in the right place. Gotta whip your money sometimes. But at the end of the day, I guess nothing wrong with this, right? It's still growing. It's just time, how quickly you want your money to grow, and how much is your risk tolerance, and all those little measures that come into play. So possibly buying a little bit on the dip, seeing how it reacts. If we get a failed break and a pop, I might buy a little bit more. Then on the breakout, see if I can buy a little bit more. And then after the breakout, a dip and hold, I'll buy and I'll make it a real trade. So just like how you would do on a day trade, you would just do that on a swing side too. You just get a little bit more time on your side when you're doing that, basically. Put that one on your watch list. Instead of going to hood, I want to quickly go to CPNG. One of my friends brought up CPNG to me, and I found the chart pretty interesting. If you go to the weekly chart, that looks like it's reversing back to the upside from that 2022 lows. If I remember correctly, the stock is like a Singaporean or some one of those Asian countries education platform. You can see how it's been struggling ever since its IPO, and just recently kind of getting back above its 200-day moving average. The more important level that stood out to me is this low right here. So the stock getting back above its $30 is a little significant. So getting above 30 is good, but what's also standing out is today's move back to the downside. So on this area on the dip, I'm expecting to see some range to form, and once we see a range forming here, I think that breakout of that range will be possibly a good trade for the long side. One thing that does turn me off on this stock, however, is, let me quickly open up FinViz, is the PE ratio. However, you could say the same thing about some of my other stocks in my portfolio, like a Palantir, whose PE is ridiculously high, NBIS, who doesn't even have a PE, CPNG doesn't really look that bad. On the daily chart, you got a nice little sideways consolidation, holding off the 21-day moving average and a breakout into a previous daily resistance. You can see how that was support turned into resistance, and just now testing that resistance to see if we can turn that into support once again. I think if that is turning this area into support, or we form a range over here and then breakout, CPNG might be something to keep an eye out for. Not something that we will be it will be in play right now, I think, but for sure something to keep on watch. Especially if the stock pushes right back up tomorrow and trades somewhere in the upper half of today's range. Given that the market was bullish today and CPNG didn't really hold strong, that might be indicative of its own thing overall. Palantir got absolutely destroyed on the Russell imbalance, but had a pretty good move back up today and trying to hold around that 136 area. I think if this one does get back below 134, 135, I'll just have to eat my loss and walk away on this trade, because that is my average price. So basically I'll lose like a couple dollars per share, which is not really that big of a problem for me. If it starts to close below the 21-day moving average is when I'll actually be a little worried on this name. Hopefully this is just a little shakeout with that Russell imbalance and then we push back up north. As for the day trade side, I think the Russell's candle height is a little important. You want to see how that day's low and this all-time high come into play. Until then, I don't really think Palantir is a clear-cut trade on the big picture side. So Palantir just kind of in the doghouse for me at the moment for the day trade, and there are better stocks out there for the day trade if we really want to keep an eye out for them, which I will bring up in a second. Let's go to a couple other stocks that I want to look at for the swing account. CRDO, this could be for the day and for the swing. This stock is a little extended from the 50-day moving average, so let me just quickly go to one of my other indicators, CRDO. Let's go to the 1-day chart. CRDO is currently 9 times its average ATR. 9 times its ATR away from the 50-day moving average. So that's quite a bit away from its 50-day moving average, which is not the best time to be initiating a long position by any means. But with the way the chart's setting up, with the sector that it's in, I think, you know, this is where you want to put your money to work. So if we do get that breakout back above 95.71, 96, maybe tomorrow or sometime this week, for the day trade, for the swing trade, I am watching both of those accounts over here. So make sure you set an alert up, and your support or your stop is pretty obvious. It's that range low. If the stock starts to close back under 90.50, under $90, then you just stay away from this name and take that loss if you did get that long into it. Don't mean to throw a wrench in your process, but watching AEVA for mean reversion tomorrow. Tried it today on the orb, but stopped out on the VWAP reclaim. I heard a lot of people were watching the stock, so yes, this one needs to be on the watch list for sure for the day trade. Thank you, AT. I'm just gonna call you AT, brother. Thank you for mentioning that for the day trade. We will put this one on the watch list, and yeah, for sure makes that list on that side. Continuing back on the real quick on the swing account, also potentially worth on the day trade, but it's just low volume, so we'll see how it plays out. Breakout above 97, worth it. Even a breakdown below 90.50 would be worth for a day trade short, so worth putting an alert on either side to see how it plays out for the day trade. For the swing, however, I don't really short on the swing, so it's more so only long for the swing for me. 95.70 /96, and it's 90.50 /90.76, so we'll put that at 95.71 /96. So CRDO worth watching in case either one of those levels come into play. PSNL, pretty solid triple top just at $7.20, and you got the golden cross happening at the moment. Low priced position also, or stock in general, I should say. So 720 breakout potentially makes this one blast off. So you don't really have the true bouncy ball because you don't have a higher low, you got a lower low, or you could just say a double top with a lower low. This is where the stock started to have a little bit of a change in characteristics. You got the high volume close right there, and then after the high volume close, you saw buyers coming in and supporting the stock right into the higher end of the candle range. Then you got the breakout, resistance around 720, pullback, holding the 200-day resistance around 720 again, pullback, double bottoming, and right into that range again. So pretty important level around $3, because whoever is accumulating at 3, they are simply not letting the stock get below 3. Ideally, that's where you want to be long, because the buyer is near $3 and there's a seller near $7. So if the seller does break and we do manage to get above it, then the buyers are clearly in control, and this could start blasting off. Not sure what the short flow is on this name. One of my buddies in my Discord groups mentioned to me it's a small cap stock. I don't even know what the hell they do. Okay, small cap stock, medical nursing services group, insider ownership 40%. That's pretty good, not bad, you know, pretty good ownership insider. Not a high short float, so you know, maybe a pretty legitimate company. The fact that not everyone wants to go out there and short the crap out of this name, and just has been stuffed down because of whatever reasons it has been stuffed down. I need to look more into it, but just the chart PSNL for the day and for the swing activates right above the $7.20. More for the swing than the day, to be honest, but let's see if the alerts start triggering for us to party. Now Oracle, I wanted this on the swing. above 216 on the 216 breakout, but that just happened in pre-market. So missing all on the move in pre-market on this stock. Hopefully we get a dip buy tomorrow, and the dip buy does manage to stay above 217. It did already pull back quite a bit, so any buying above 217 tomorrow would kind of already prove that, hey, we are finding buyers above previous all-time high, which happened to be the most recent nice little flag chance. The 9 EMA caught up, and then a news catalyst breaking the stock up higher, with the market going up higher too. So any dip buys into 217 potentially worth watching. And again, 200 EMA, 500 EMA crossover worth noticing. So 217 is the key level that I want to see buyers coming in and defending. Anywhere above 217 isn't automatically a long for me. ASTS, nice little breakdown on ASTS, sorry. After not too long ago creating an all-time high, so just recently broke out of the all-time high at $39.40 and stalled into, what is this, 54 bucks. 54 to 48. It created a nice little range and then broke below 48, $49 for that nice short opportunity. So you could say some downside is opening up. So tomorrow, if the stock pops up and stays below 48.50, 49, ASTS as a day trade is worth watching, because that could actually push lower and set up for some mean reversion opportunity, much like AEVA that our friend just brought up. However, AEVA is much more extended than ASTS, and if you were looking to short ASTS, it should have been today, possibly not tomorrow, but worth watching anyways. The reason why I say not worth watching tomorrow on ASTS is because the same stocks in the sector are not pulling back as drastically as that name. For example, RKLB, other stocks in the sector like Planet Labs did have a recent pop to the upside. BKSY, another stock that is going crazy, parabolic, a little extended from the 50-day moving average from its most recent breakout. So the stocks in the sector are not really pulling back as much. So this one is kind of like a you know, maybe it's doing its own thing, so worth watching it for that reason. But for me, it's got to reject on a bounce below 49. If it's not rejecting below 49, then there is just no short for me on this name at all. And RKLB, you could, I guess, watch this name for a potential move above 38 if there is volume, but you can see how volume's kind of dying down and not really a high priority name for the day trade side at the moment currently, so just gonna leave that one in the dust. HPE reclaiming the 200-day moving average today on a positive catalyst that the court ruling 14 billion something Juniper something, I don't know. Overall positive move to the upside, and Juniper is getting bought out for any of you interested, so that one is giving you some buyout trades, but not really worth talking about to you guys, because most of you can't even take advantage of that setup. And also, if I talk too much about that setup, I'll probably get beat up on my friends, so I'll stop on that one and just mention that HPE and Juniper deal went through. Let's talk about Coinbase. So this one's interesting. The reason why Coinbase is on the watch list is because that setup right there looks very similar to a stock that I just showed you, ASTS. So you can see how Coinbase went absolutely bonkers into the north side, and if Coinbase does get back under whatever this price is right now, 350, I guess you could even say 350, 345. Nah, maybe not. Okay, maybe if you could say 350. If Coinbase starts to look weak below 350, that's the inflection level. But the first area of support would be 345. So if it doesn't break 345 and just start going under it like a absolute falling knife, then you want to be careful. But ideally, if the stock is staying weak under 345 tomorrow, like it is at the moment in the after hours, potentially we see a day trade where this stock starts to open up some downside, much like ASTS, right back into $300 or so, or at least the 320s where the 9-day moving average is. So 327 is the 9-day moving average. Potentially a short from 350 or 340 into 330 into 325. So that would be an opportunity to keep an eye out for a replication of a setup, a replication of similar patterns that I can kind of see playing out. But on the flip side, let's say 343, 345 area actually ends up holding on Coinbase after we do flush to the downside. That means no more shorts. Now you want to be careful. Take profits if you were short already, and be careful for a move back through 350. There could be a long afterwards if the stock reclaims 350 and starts to build above 350 for you know, a little bit, like maybe 10, 20, 30 minutes. It's building some buyers above 350. There could be a long above 350 for a day trade, but that's the key level once again. So just keep an eye out for Coinbase tomorrow. I think this one will give us some good day trades without a doubt. MSTR finally getting back above 400, but did you close above 400? You did. So MSTR getting back above 400. I bought some of this in my swing account today. I used MSTU. So for anyone wondering what that is, that's the leverage ETF for MSTR. And obviously going to love watching MSTR run up to the north side. If it doesn't, I'm going to absolutely hate the stock and ban it forever and ever and ever. No, I'm joking, but we'll see how this one plays out. For the day trade, MSTR is too spready. I think MSTU might be more worth it for a day trade too. So just keep an eye out for this one. MSTR out of the pinch play. Ooh, that's also worth mentioning that MSTR is currently doing the Anchor VWAP pinch setup that my good friend Dieter is mentioning right here in the YouTube chat. Dieter is mentioning that Anchor VWAP pinch setup is currently taking place on MSTR, which is good. That's exactly what you want to see. So nice little move back up after holding the 50-day moving average on the dip. So still one of the most bullish charts that I've seen in a while. Well, I shouldn't say, yeah, in a while, because, you know, you have stocks like Apple that's still below the 200-day moving average. Potentially the news today takes Apple back above the 200-day. Google had a little bit of a selling action from that 180 area. Didn't really hold. And I know Barkey wanted me to take a look at Google, Amazon, HIMS, please, if they're not on your list. Yeah, they're not really on my list as a day trade to talk about, because I keep an eye on them every day anyways, and I expect everyone to do the same thing. I expect everyone to keep an eye out on the top 7 stocks in the market. If not, then you're doing a mistake. You can't call yourself a trader if you don't know how the Magnificent 7 are doing, a day trader or a swing trader. I guess you could be a small cap trader and not really give a shit about what the Mag 7's doing, but if you are a normal trader who trades normal cap stocks or futures, you kind of want to know what the 7 top stocks are doing out there in the market. Anyways, coming back to what Barkey wants me to take a look at is Google. A little bit of a reject over here. If you look at the stock, not really the healthiest move if you are bullish on this name, but still above the 200-day moving average. So I guess nothing really too bearish to cry about just yet. We did get a nice bounce off the 50-day moving average. I think Amazon's a little bit of a better chart. You got Amazon breaking out and now holding above, still closing above the little resistance that it had in this area. I'm actually long Amazon in my own account at 220. So watching it close at 219 doesn't make me happy. But as long as it doesn't close under what, 216, 217, I'm okay with holding it onto my position over here on Amazon. So watching how Amazon plays out going into this current bull market rally. Google, I am looking at Google for a long, but you know, this action is a turnoff. The last one you said was HIMS. I did see that HIMS had this gap close, but it needs to reclaim 5120 to really, you know, for me to think that maybe there's more upside again. All of this upside has kind of closed off the move higher, or at least a really sharp move higher. You would now need like a big catalyst, a new partnership, a new form of them making shit ton of money, for the stock to just kind of do this, right? For it to go through the current range and just blast off. For it to do that, it's gonna need something huge. What it can do is this. Right? And just go sideways for a long time in this area and then eventually break out. If that's the case, why would I want to put my money in this name now? Right? Like the blast off on HIMS was right here. It was supposed to go right here. When that cup and handle, this is the cup, this is the handle. Multiple attempts at the handle breaking, and each time the handle broke, it just did not have any follow through. There was an obvious seller here. Well, let's start here. There was an obvious seller here, and that seller now moved lower and kept taking profits in the 64 to 68 area. So even if we do go back there, it's gonna have to really struggle to get back above this zone. So HIMS is kind of dead to me now. Like the volatility is gonna die down. If you throw on Bollinger Bands, what the fuck is that? If you throw on Bollinger Bands, the volatility should now start contracting again. Well, I guess it was contracting, and then it opened up because of this move, and then after some more back and forth, potentially in this area, because we're gonna most likely reject, throw that line back up, most likely going to reject this area. What the fuck? Most likely going to reject this area and trade this way. Every time I click this brush, it just wouldn't give me the damn brush. Holy shit, that was so annoying. Okay. So HIMS, not a high priority for a swing trade and for the day trade. If it gets above 5150, maybe there's a possibility for the swing and for the long. But for the day trade, it is worth watching. If we do keep rejecting 50, maybe the stock does sell back to the downside. But these recent action to the upside kind of... it's not in play anymore. It's not in play. There's better in play names for a day trade, so HIMS is just not making the watch list for either of the sides. It's not making the watch list for the day trade. It's not making the watch list for the swing trade. FTV pushed to the downside a little bit. I think something along the words of what did they have? Something along the words of a spin-off. They did a spin-off and they pushed into $50 and they bounced clean off of $50. So pretty sure not a lot of people had this stock on their radar. You would have gotten a monster long off of $50, barely risking a single penny below 50, and you would have been able to ride it into $52, $51 very easily. Potentially some sort of a mean reversion possible on this name. Looking at this area right here, though, that kind of shows you that maybe the mean reversion will have to follow through above 52.50. If it doesn't, then there is no mean reversion at all. So just watching 52.50 to the upside and 50 to the downside. What was the stock's name again? FTV. FTV. 52.50 is the key level to the upside. 50 is the key level to the downside. And watching how the stock plays out. If we start building energy above 52.50, hell yeah, baby. Oh man. So 5250 will be interesting. If we start holding above 5250 and the stock hopefully, please pray to God, has volume tomorrow, could give us a good mean reversion move up north. But if it doesn't hold 5250, that could be an easy short tomorrow back to the downside. So 100% on the watch list. I'm going to give it a purple importance at the moment, but depending on how the volume comes into play tomorrow, pre-market, we'll see if it gets downgraded or if it stays a purple. Palantir, I said it's not really worth or not really on my watch list at the moment. Apple, so Apple is interesting. Apple is interesting because of that catalyst of that they might replace Siri with Andrew, and hopefully I'm saying that right. Whatever, that they're gonna replace Siri with a better AI because they're struggling and they clearly need to do something about it. They need to play catch up or they're going to fall back and be a thing of the past, right? So playing catch up is not good, but is always better than not doing anything at all about it. So market loving the fact that Apple is doing something, and they absolutely went crazy buying the stock up today. Even the Revere Asset Management team bought some shares of Apple, which they said they would never do because the stock is not really in their setup. But hopefully this current news catalyst is going to be positive on Apple and it starts to rally the stock back up towards the glory high days. We'll see if that one actually ends up playing that way. I think Apple is going to obviously be a high priority name tomorrow given how it broke out today into the close. Any move above 200, 205, those $5 areas. So I think if it's between 205 to 200, you're just playing that 200 to 205 range. But if it's above 205, I can't see how the stock does not get above today's high and then keeps on rallying above today's high. So today's high is at 207. If it's holding 205 on the dips tomorrow, I simply cannot see how Apple is not rallying. So that's the key level right there, in my opinion, 205. And I don't see how the stock gets below 200 tomorrow. If it's at 200, I think you should be looking for a long on this name and possibly a high priority tomorrow. BMNR, monster move. I tried to go long the stock around 16 and I failed because I'm the worst trader in the goddamn fucking world. Let me show you guys exactly what I did. So right here is where I took that breakout. I got stopped out on that red candle right back to the downside. But this is where the long actually set up. You can see how it breaks back out, pulls back for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes. It holds above that $16, above that $15.50 pre-market high. That's where the long sets up. You could have built the long in this area and risked that candle low. You could have added above on the new high a day breakout. Never really looked back. Obviously hindsight trading, but I'm analyzing the chart. I'm studying the chart. In that moment, how could I have actually caught this trade? So right there in that area on the high day breakout, you would have had a potential move into $27, potentially not all the way up to $30 and so on, depending on your exit rules. Like one of my exit rules is 5-minute lows. So the 5-minute lows is right there at $22. So a percentage of my trade would have been closed there. A percentage of my trade would have been closed there, and then possibly all of my trade would have been ended somewhere right here or somewhere in this area, and I would have not been able to catch the ride that the stock had into the after hours of $52. So pretty monster move up today. I think it's it's potentially having a big short day tomorrow. That's worth keeping an eye out for. So BMNR, just keep an eye out for it. No real levels. Today's VWAP. These pre-market levels that it might have, these after hour levels that it did have, all of those will be on watch for some sort of a failure to follow through or one of those big boy short setups that the underground boys always play, the IU boys play. So BMNR on watch for that side. AEVA, Aotearoa trades, AT on the Twitter side, mentioned this name for me. It was supposed to be on my watch list, but I forgot. Extended AF, and volume is also increasing, so potentially high priority for first red day trade, high priority for a short trade if it sets up. When it sets up, we'll see. And the liquidity sounds trash on this name, only 4 million shares traded, but I think this is a classic. Is this OST? It's not OST, because OST had a big volume and then no volume, just trading back and forth at a prop store, pricing it back higher and higher and higher, trapping buyers, and then selling it all the way back on the buyers to the downside, just trapping everybody. But this one actually had a bunch of volume to the upside, but still very, very extended. 50-day moving average is at $17. The stock is at goddamn near 40 bucks, so potentially giving us a first red day setup very, very soon, and for that should be on watch. Today's low 35, today's high 38. I think basic levels like today's high, today's low obviously will be on watch, but there are no concrete levels at the moment that I can pinpoint to. I guess if you zoom out a little bit, there are some levels here that you could map out, and the stock is exactly around that area. So you can see how today we actually bounced right off of those lows from back in the past. Surprise, surprise. So I guess holding above 35, this is exactly what Coupang charts look like, right? CPNG. So CPNG getting above that $30-$31 potentially goes blast off. Instead, Coupang actually has spent some time in this area and then is pushing up north, whereas AEVA didn't really spend a lot of time in this area, right? It didn't spend a lot of time here. It's just trying to goddamn blast off and go crazy. So bigger short here than Coupang, and then if Coupang actually creates some support above 35, that one, or not, whatever its level is, I think it's 31. So if Coupang builds some level above 31, that gets interesting. This one, you can't ignore that 35 importance. If you are short, let's say on a failure to get above 40, but the stock is going into 35, you can't ignore that level around 35. So make sure that you have that mapped out. I think 40 will be somewhat of an inflection level tomorrow, given how the stock is going at the moment, but you cannot ignore the big level 35. JOBY, this one is making a move back up. Fly, little drone, fly. However, one of the drone stocks that I had stopped me out today by having a share offering. So this AVAV, I was long from 238 and was very, very excited for a move to 300 or higher, but this after hour news that came out, it was that, what was it? Yeah, stock offering due 2030 convertible notes. So that one obviously scared me out a little bit, and I punched out of my position completely. Maybe a mistake over there on my part, and I'll be very upset watching the stock going back up to 290, going back up to 300 without me. But hopefully it does give me a pullback and a dip to get long again. Hopefully along somewhere into 250. You can see how the 200 day, sorry, not 200 day, the 9 EMA and the 21 EMA are still so far away. The 9-day moving average is well below my average price. My average price is 238, 240. The 9-day moving average is 224. Even if I was to trail to the 9-day moving average, that's a lot of room that I'm giving back to the stock to the downside. So I don't want to deal with that. I'll lock in my profits. If I do get a pullback and a hold above in this area, I will gladly get back in. Maybe a sideways action now that that news comes out for some time, and then I can wait for the EMAs to catch up to the stock price. Once the EMA catches up and we get a nice bull flag, then I can take that breakout and get back into the trade, and in that meantime I can use that capital elsewhere to make some money quickly. Or trading is not just about making money, you also lose money quickly somewhere else. So at the moment, I'm completely out of AVAV. JOBY popping up today on the news catalyst. So potentially a stock worth watching for day trade and a swing trade. At the moment, I just don't really have a setup or an idea or a level or even a clue of what the news was. So just putting up on the radar, putting it up on the dartboard. We'll see how it plays out. Joby Air Taxi just took off in Dubai, and so did the stock. That was 2 hours ago. And you can see how clearly that was a bullish catalyst. Bullish catalyst. Tesla still going down, looking weak, looking sad, but still above the 200-day moving average. And I did mention, when it does get above this 350 or so, that's when it's party time on Tesla. At the moment, it looks like it could break lower, but you are getting the golden cross. You're getting the golden cross as the stock might actually break down if the market gets weaker. So watch out for that. But if Tesla continues to build some support in this area, this might not be a bad spot to start building along into Tesla. Might not be a bad spot at all. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is basically the watch list that I have for tomorrow. If there's any levels that you want me to talk about, put it in the chat real quick, or we can head over to the last few things on the stream. Barkey also wanted me to take a look at NBIS. I'm pretty sure I talked about NBIS already, Barkey. I added to my position above 55 today in the after hours. So right here into 55.50, I bought more on NBIS, and I am very bullish on this stock. So we'll see how this one plays out. AI, data center, semiconductors, banks, cybersecurity, all of these sectors going up is a very good thing for the market. So if these sectors are going higher, it's going to be hard for the market to go down and the market to turn back into a bearish market. So the golden cross, the last 3-4 times that you've seen the golden cross take place on the market, it has not failed people at all. So based off of that indicator alone, this market taking an all-time high is gearing us up for a monster move. And if you are in the right names already, you are just getting ready to grow your account drastically. So shout out to anyone who did that. I'm in a bunch of names, and I'm very excited for this bull run. Hopefully we don't get Trump to ruin things for us. We'll see if interest rates cuts eventually come into play. In case they do, that just boosts the market even more to the upside. So watch out for that. Anything over here? Oh, BBAI. Can't forget about that one. That one's also on my swing account. BBAI almost breaking $7 today. Well, sorry, it did break 7 today, but we'll see if this one goes even higher. PL, I kind of talked about that one a little bit. BBAI more important for me because it's got a high short flow, 20% short flow, and just now breaking out of 6. This could really start going with volume increasing too. 300 million shares trading at the moment. I'm long 530. And the stock is at $7. So let's go, baby. Give me that 100% return on this bad boy. Love seeing growth like this. Have a great Prad. Have a great night, Prad. See you tomorrow. John, JVS is out of here. JVS does not want to watch me a second after 9 o'clock, eh? I respect it. He's got to go hang out with his family, and nothing wrong with that. JVS, I'll catch you Wednesday, not tomorrow, because tomorrow is Canada Day. So I'll be celebrating that with my family and friends. I'll see you Wednesday for the final stream of the week, my friend. BBAI, another name to keep a watch. I think for the day trade is also worth it because of how much volume it does. But more so for the swing, the stock is currently going blast off mode. Potentially a little extended to buy the stock up here. The long was down here at $4, at $5. And if you didn't buy it, you're kind of a little late for that. Wait for another setup, maybe a pullback to buy or something else to buy, and then you can join the ride. That's basically enough for the stocks for the day. Let me just quickly add BBAI down here for myself so I don't forget about it. Let's quickly go to IPO calendar. IPO calendar potentially a little dead right now because we are on a brand new month. Oh my god. Oh yeah, there you go. I was gonna freak out for a second. I was like, what? A little dead indeed. So that's an acquisition corp, Caspo Vision, a very small company, $33 million company, and 10 League International Holdings, again a very small company, not relevant at the moment. Hopefully we see some more IPOs heating up. Recently we've had a very hot IPO sector, and I would like for more IPOs to come into play for us to take advantage. Really quickly, let me see if there is any other names to keep a watch on. Ooh, actually some names that are worth watching. TOST. TOST is worth watching. If it does get above that alert, I almost forgot TOST. Toasty. Shopify, which had a failed breakout, so potentially the second breakout on Shopify is going to blast it to the upside. 117. And let me just set an alert on that one also. The Shopify Toast already has an alert. What is the Toasties alert? Toasties 45-50 area. Nah. If you are interested to get some exposure in the drone sector, I guess you could watch some of these drone alternatives. ACHR doesn't look too bad. Joby. What other drone stocks are there? UAVS, UAV, RCAT. RCAT doesn't look too bad either. FLT, forget about that one. But AVAV is another one, but I kind of want to stay away from the drone sector at the moment. We'll keep it on watch, but not really a high important name out there. Any other names that maybe one of my friends mentioned AS, which is, you know, I was watching the stock at the IPO day, and I was a little upset watching the stock go higher after the IPO, but then all it did is go sideways. So I guess that is a good thing that it went sideways, created a nice little range, and then breaking out of this range could give it some bullish move to the upside. The PE on Amer Sports is ridiculously high, so ideally, you know, this pullback needs to hold above 38. So AS doesn't really excite me as much as some of my friends are getting excited on this one. Let me quickly scan some other stocks over here that my buddies are mentioning. Twilio doesn't look too bad either, and that's a pretty big name, like a market cap size name. IBKR having a nice little breakout on the daily chart. Potentially too late on IBKR at the moment, but if it does pull back and show some support, that could be worth keeping an eye out for. IBKR, sadly, you know what, I'm not gonna talk shit about it. IBKR worth watching. So IBKR, let's quickly throw that one. It's 53.50 that we're watching on that area. But that's about it, I guess. I got nothing else besides this. Some other stocks that I remember having in my portfolio recently. SE, we talked about Shopify. CCL recently reported earnings, and that one's not looking too bad at the moment. Oh wow, CCL actually breaking out higher. I didn't see that one happening. But CCL going to a nice little spot here. That one's I think CCL worth watching for a resistance around 28.30 for a day trade short if it does get there. So I'll put an alert worth for a day trade. RCL is going insane at the moment too. That one's worth potentially watching for an eventual pullback short. First red day, it's going a little parabolic, so potentially worth watching for some sort of a first red day setup. So RCL FRD question mark, so I'll just put that one as a blue marker. Trying to remember any other names. Quantum sector, blah 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 blah. I guess you could watch. Where are the quantum sector? I checked IonQ today. That one didn't look too bad for a swing trade. But I'm not too bullish on the quantum sector at the moment. Ooh, QUBT did have a good day. QBTS trying to pop back up into the previous support ranges. So quantum sector, I guess, worth watching for the day and the swing. But that's about it. I'm done watching stocks at the moment, and I'm about to call it for the night. IPO calendar, we looked at that. I think last but not least is the econ calendar. And that is on investing.com. So economic calendar for tomorrow, what are we looking at? We got the ISM manufacturing PMI at 10 o'clock. No 8:30 numbers, but we do have Fed Chair Powell at 9:30. Right as the market opens, you got the Fed Chair Powell comments. Then you have manufacturing PMI 9:45. And again 10 o'clock. So obviously anywhere from 9:30 to 10 could be a very volatile period in the market tomorrow. You want to be careful. And then after 10 o'clock, it's kind of nothing until 1 o'clock, which is Atlanta GDP, which could again move the market a little bit. Tomorrow being a Canada day off could mean a little bit slower volume on the market overall. And with Friday being the 4th of July, people could already be taking off the week off or going into early summer vacation and so on. So expect lighter volume in general. It is summer trading, so this is not the time to be over trading and losing money and giving back money you made on the year so far. This is time to be protecting your money and really being patient for setups and taking advantage of setups when you see them on the day trade side. For the swing side, there are a ton of setups and ton of opportunities, so just be patient, take advantage of what you see. Last but not least, Linktree. This is what the hell? Linktree has all my affiliate sponsors. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors: Traders Insight, Trade Ideas, Traders Sync, Benzinga Pro, and Flash Research. Also shout out to my swing trader mentor, Real Simple Ariel. If you guys are interested to trade with us, he posts awesome trade reviews. Awesome. He actually hosts live trade calls every single day, and one of his recent trades was a $500,000 winner. So he made an awesome short on the stock OST, which netted him $500,000 in about 90 minutes or something crazy like that. So if you want to make money like that on the day trade and on the swing trade side, join him and me by clicking this link here. And you can also join all my social medias by clicking these links up here. It's time for me to call it. Happy Canada Day to all my Canadians like Dieter and everybody else. I will catch you guys Wednesday for the final stream of the week. Bye-bye! Another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors: Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Traders Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.